Bum, 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 bum. Ba, ba, bum, 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 ba-da-dum, bum. Bum, 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 ba, bum, 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 bum. It wasn't God who made honky tonk angels. Ba-dum, ba, ba-da, ba, 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 bum. Hello, everybody. According to the counter, oh, there's somebody. Yay! I was hanging out just waiting for somebody to show up. Hi, Lasati. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Hi, Lasati. Reflection, connection, and growth. Is that who? Is that you, Anna? No. Who's? I can't see the little picture of you. But welcome. Sorry. Ah, I know I should know that. So, welcome everybody. It's been a weird day, so I'm a little bit. Oh, it is you. Okay. Awesome. I wasn't sure, and I can't really see the tiny little picture to see if it was really you or not. Yay, you made it. So, all right, welcome everybody. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some medicine card readings. Um, so the first thing, before I do anything else, so that I do not forget it, I am going to drum and set sacred space. And what that does, it calls in the spirits and the elements to hold a sacred space around us, a higher vibration, so that nothing of a the lower vibration can get in. And so we are protected and safe, which means that we can let go of our own armor and protections, whatever we try to keep ourselves safe, so that we can open our hearts for the blessings and the messages from spirit. So, spirits of the earth, spirits of the air, spirits of the fire, spirits of the water, spirits of the upper world, spirits of the lower world, compassionate spirits of the middle world, the Fae, spirits of the land, the ancestors of the land. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for holding us in your love and your light. Oh, all right, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just coming in and you're new here, my name is Patrick. I am your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some medicine card readings, a medicine card deck where each card has a different animal totem on it. And how this works, if you're new here, um, the first 5 people to say yes in the comments get a 1 card reading. And if you're watching this on replay, or if you're not one of those first 5, or you just want to watch along, what you can do to still participate is you can choose a number between 1 and 5 and listen to when that card comes up. And I promise that something in that message will be suited right for you, even though it might have somebody else's name attached. It will. Spirit just has this beautiful way of weaving messages together. So whatever you really need to know, you will know. Never mind the man behind the curtain. Um, so, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That helps me um, and it helps other people find me and everything. So um, I am all over the place. You know what? Everybody, let's take a breath together. I know I am like scattered. I've been scattered all last night and all today. So close your eyes if you feel like it, or just have a soft gaze. Choose something to have a soft gaze with. And take a deep breath in and hold it for a moment. And let it go. Take another deep breath in and hold it for a moment. Let it go. And as your breath returns to normal, I want you, when you take an inhale, you're breathing up. Think in your head, up earth, like you're breathing up. You're inhaling that beautiful green earth energy up through your chakras to your heart. And as you exhale, I want you to think sky down. As you exhale, it's like you're drawing down this beautiful golden silver energy of the sky, the sun and the moon, down through your crown chakra, down into your heart. So as you inhale, earth up, and as you exhale, sky down. And just do that for a couple of cycles. Oh, that feels so much better. Oh, I hope that feels better for everybody else as well. All right. So if you are new here again, all you need to do to get a one card reading is be one of the first 5 to say yes in the comments. And like I said, if you are not one of the first 5, or you just want to watch, see what happens, or if you're watching this on replay, you can go ahead and just choose a number. And I promise that whatever I say with that card is going to somehow apply to whatever your message is as well. That's just the way it works. All right. So, and at the end, the reason I do 5 cards is because if you were to come to me one on one for a reading, there's a card spread I do. It's called the medicine wheel spread. And it's basically the 4 directions and center. So 5 cards. And so once we do our individual readings, I take those same 5 cards in the order they were drawn and lay out that spread. And I do a reading for the community, whether that's our immediate family, whether that's a global community, um, is up for you to decide. But it gives us it. I love the way it shows how our individual paths and our individual medicine weave into the fabric of the community. So that's what we're doing. So far, we've only got one person. It's going to be a really short night if I only get one. If I only draw one card, but we'll see what happens. All right. So our first card for Anna. Ah, oh, someone made a message and then they retracted it. All right. The fairies have been messing with me all day. I had to go out and get cat food for my little kitty, and I'm like walking into the store and it's like, why am I walking so strangely? Why does it feel weird? I get the cat food. I walk out of the store. I look down at my feet and my shoes are on the wrong foot. And every time that happens, I know that it's the fairies playing with me. It's happened before. It happens usually when I'm taking life a little too seriously and I need to lighten up. Now, like I'm shuffling the cards and they're not cooperating. It's like, okay, fairies, I get it. Let it go, let it go. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. All right, first card for Anna. Okay, and I want to write down so I can remember for when I get to the community reading. But so first card. Hi, Moon Honey! Yay! Hi, Price. Oh, I have such a hard time like reading those little Price or Roblox. Price Price Roblox. I will. So keep your question. I'm going to put you second on the list, and we will see what card comes up and how it relates to your question. Okay. And hello, Moon Honey. Do you want a card? So card number one for Anna, we have Lizard in reverse. And it's interesting because I've been doing these readings so long that like as soon as I see a card, it's like boom, boom, I have this. There's a certain routine with certain symbols or words that go along with it, and it's easy for me to fall into that automatic. Oh, that means this. But awesome, got you down, Moon Honey. My guys are giving me a different answer for you for this one. Um, and it relates to it's so interesting. Like when you're a healer, shaman, or high priestess or whatever, when your whole um, career and vocation is aimed at helping others, what usually happens is you experience certain things and you're like, what the heck's going on? Why am I doing this? What's and then a little while later, someone comes to you for help with exactly that same thing. And you can ask almost any healer, any reader, but it's like we go through things so that we have the wisdom or the compassion, what empathy, that's the word I'm looking for, to help someone else. And this is so this kind of relates. I was down at the river doing ceremony a few weeks ago, and I've been going down there literally for years, right? Um, I have never seen a lizard down at the river. I have seen beavers, I have seen otters, I've seen heron, I've seen eagles, I've seen a stoat actually came and jumped over my lap. I've seen mice, I've seen snails, I've seen snakes, and I've never seen a lizard in all the years I went down there. And so I'm sitting there down at the river a few weeks ago, and I was contemplating something, changes I needed to make, different things, asking for guidance. And all of a sudden, this lizard came running across. No, it wasn't a salamander, it was a lizard. It was like a skink. And it came running across and ducked under this log near me and then just sat there. And I watched him for a really long time. He just sat there, just silent and still. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I've never seen a a lizard down here. Um, and so I'm like, okay, what's the message? And here, this is the message, I think, in how it relates to you. Um, as you're moving forward, sometimes, I don't, okay, I always second guess myself on how to put these things into words. Um, don't let the past hold you back from moving forward. Just like the lizard, when a predator will come and try to grab the lizard, and the lizard will drop its tail will fall off and start wiggling around to keep the attention of the predator while the lizard runs off. It's like don't let your past drag you down, slow you down, keep you from achieving your destination where you're supposed to be, because if it is truly a part of you, just like the lizard's tail, it will grow back. You can't lose anything. And so it's kind of, it could, you could think of it as cutting cords, um, you know, with people, with situations, and Um, sometimes people freak out when I talk about that because they don't really understand cutting cords, what that is. It's kind of like they think cutting cords is like cutting off all connection and all communication. And it can be, but it's actually one of my teachers, one of my shaman teachers talked about how her and her husband would regularly sit down, like maybe once a month or something. They would sit down together and they would cut cords. And they would, go into a shamanic journey, and they would ask to be shown the toxic cords, the unhealthy cords that were connecting them to each other or to other things, other people. And those are the cords that um some people traditionally they'll cut them with, like, they'll have like a sword or a knife in their journey to cut it with. Some people physically use like an athame, a knife to cut cords. But the technique that I use, a great good friend of mine, Reverend Judith Laxer, taught me that to cut cords in a healthy way is to picture yourself in a cave, right? Like underground in a cave where all the walls are light. It's like lit. The walls are emitting light. It's like the universal light. And you can sit there with whoever or whatever it is you're cutting cords with. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be like your past, right? You can have some symbol for your past sitting in front of you. And if it or you can just do it by yourself and just not have the other person, if it's that toxic of a thing or threatening of a thing, you can just sit yourself there, or you can put a campfire in between you and the other person, right? And so then you sit there and you ask to be shown the unhealthy cords that need to be let go of. And so instead of cutting them, it's like you see the cords wherever they are in your body. You actually you unplug them from you, and you plug them in to the wall of the cave so that the other person doesn't feel that change, right? Even if they're not woo woo, even if they're not aware of energy or anything like that, there can be kind of this backlash when you cut cords with someone that, like, you know, within a day or so, you're gonna pop into their head for whatever they have no reason, no understanding why, but all of a sudden you're gonna pop into their head and they're gonna reach out. And subconsciously it's because they're gonna try to reattach that cord. But what this does is it allows them, they're still getting energy, but it's coming from a universal source rather than you. So it's no longer sucking your power away, taking your energy in unhealthy ways. Um, and usually it doesn't set off any alarms to them. They won't know any different. So um, so whether it's a person or a situation like a job or a relationship or whatever, um, you know, um, the past is as unwritten as the future is. From this point of time, now, here and now, you have an infinite number of pasts, just as you have an infinite number of futures laying in front of you. And so when you can reclaim that moment, the present is your point of power. No matter what has happened in the past, no matter how you have reacted to something in the past, no matter what you believed in the past, you are not beholden to any past version of you. This moment is a new moment of creation. Who you are right now, you have never been before. And to cutting those cords is letting go of that past. It's like dropping the lizard's tail to give you that lightness to move forward. Um, I'll get you in a second price. Hi, Kelly. Um, but it's kind of like you're crossing. I remember we did a reading earlier this week, and it was about that arrival, right? You're arriving in a new place, a new threshold where you have never been before. Um, and when we cross those thresholds and arrive someplace new, you know that newness can be uncomfortable. Um, oh, awesome, Kelly. I hope you can maybe utilize this for your own. Um, and because the past in quantum physics, right, time does not exist. Time is an illusion. Every possible timeline into the future and into the past exists. And so in this moment, you have the freedom of choice to drop the past or pretty soon I'm going to be doing an online class about personal mythology. And instead of just dropping the past, you can actually rewrite it, right? So that you are the hero of the story. And rather than writing from a victim point of view, you can write it as if it's that, the hero's journey, the hero's quest. Um, but no matter what happened before, nothing can change the fact that you are whole, that you are a high vibrational being, that you are divine by nature, and that you are a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience. Nothing that happens in this temporal world can threaten who and what you truly are. So, um, but as I was saying, sorry, I get off on tangents. Um, when we re- when we arrive at a new place, right? Like say a new relationship or a new home, and it's like it's brand new, which is exciting, and it is also scary because we don't know. Um, absolutely, Kelly, you are on the list. You're number 4. We're only on number 1 so far, and I can be quite loquacious, so I hope you have patience. Um, And so when we arrive in a new place, right, there's the unfamiliarity and the uncertainty of it can sometimes be overwhelming. And so we have a tendency to pick up our old baggage and bring it with us, right? Um, and that's what the message is to let the baggage sit. Like Abraham Hicks said, like if you picture life as a river, right? You're going down river. There's nothing upriver that you need. Everything you need is downriver. Let go of the past, stow the oars, quit rowing against the current, and let your boat flow forward, knowing that there is everything you need is downstream. Everything you need is always coming to you. In every moment, you have everything you need to be and to exist and to get to the next moment. Does that make sense? A lot of times I'll be like heading someplace like, oh crap, I forgot that thing. And then it's like, okay, I wasn't meant to bring it. There's nothing I can do about it. It's too late to go home and get it and head back out. And so it's like, okay, I'm not meant to have it. And so something else is going to happen. It's like, those are those little, I've talked before about leaving space for miracles, right? If we fill in all the gaps and have everything pre-planned and we don't leave space, there's no space for miracles to happen. But like that, like if you forget to bring something with you that you were supposed to have, chances are someone else is going to have something that will fill that space with what you forgot. And it'll be better than if you had brought this thing along. And those are the little miracles, the little synchronicities that kind of feed us, the breadcrumbs along the path that lead us forward, right? So, so if you can cut cords, or just do what you can do a general kind of call in your guides and ask them, or even better, to state that I am now releasing anything, anyone that is holding me back from claiming my highest vibrational timeline. By I am claiming my power. I call my power back and I release anything or anyone that is not supporting me in my sovereignty. Okay. Hi, Tammy. Yes. Hey, we got 5 cards. Yay. There were a few times the past few weeks that I only got like 2 or 3 cards, and it was like, okay, it's kind of, it was kind of like, what do I do at the end? But anyway, so embrace your freedom. Be the butterfly that suddenly finds, going from caterpillar mind to butterfly mind, instead of trying to fill, you've got this empty space that you can now fill with your wings, right? You can circumnavigate the globe. Whereas before, as a caterpillar, your world was like maybe this big. Um, and so embrace the newness, leave the space open. Don't fill in the um, the spread is complete. Yeah, Moon Honey. um, don't fill in that space. Leave that space open because that's the space. That's the adventure. That is the unknown. That is great mystery, right? To boldly go where no one has gone before. If we knew exactly what laid ahead, what's the point in doing it? Curiosity is the most important ingredient. I actually um, saw a video or a show, and it was about like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And they were talking to these different scientists and asking, like, once we make contact with an alien race, what can we expect? What can we expect um, of them? What will we have in common? And the scientist, very wisely, I thought, said curiosity. Curiosity is the common ingredient to all life. It's the curiosity, the questioning that takes us forward into the unknown, right? Explorers don't uh, there's no adventure. If you knew what lied ahead, there's no fun, there's no adventure. It's just, it might be the first couple of times, but then it becomes routine and then it's just kind of like dull and oh, here we go again. And so don't fill the space with old issues, old baggage, old habits or whatever. Allow yourself to breathe in that freedom, that liberation, and to know you have the wings to carry you into that space. Okay? I'm going to stop there because I could probably keep going, but we have four other people to get to. So I hope that's helpful, Anna. I'm so glad you could get through. I know you're having a hard time commenting the last couple of weeks. So, okay, card number 2 for price. What was it? I still have a hard time. Price blocks. All right, price blocks. Number 2, card number 2. And I know you had a question about your relationship. And you were asking if a person likes you. So Layla and Brendan, you want to know what his feelings are. The channeling thought. um, so one thing, price, before I even pull a card, what I can tell you is that um, this is probably like, especially in relationships, where people get in the most trouble because instead of showing up fully present, fully authentic, people try to figure out what the other person is feeling or what the other person is thinking. And so it that just automatically pulls you off center and creates kind of a codependency, um, where you don't, like I was just talking about cutting cords, etc. Right? That's an unhealthy cord when you're having to second guess um, what the other person is thinking or feeling, right? And the best thing, as hard as it might be, is to just be totally upfront and honest. Be your authentic self, say how you feel, knowing that no matter how they react, your value and worth is not dependent on the opinion of others. Who you are is who you are, and nothing can threaten that, right? Now, that said, I know in relationships, it's like, oh, I hope they like me, and that kind of thing. But you have no control over them, right? Again, adventure. Don't fill in the space, don't fill in the unknown. Part of the reason of getting involved in a relationship is because of the potential, right? Of moving forward together, not knowing what's going to happen, but knowing that you're together in it and you can both figure it out, right? So the best thing, and I know it sounds like a broken record, and it's like kind of cliched, but you really have to love yourself before you can love someone else. It's that namaste thing, right? The divine in me sees the divine in you. You have to see the divine in you before you can see it in someone else because it's about resonance. And so if you're letting your value be determined by whether someone likes you or not, then they have power over you. You are not claiming your own power. If you claim your power and you find out they don't like you, it's going to hurt, right? I'm not going to, candy coat that. It is going to hurt, but you still have your power. You still have your truth. You still have your authenticity. And that hurt becomes wisdom for the next time something happens, right? And then because you're building, what you're doing is building up trust in yourself that no matter what happens, you will survive it. You will get through it. You can handle it, right? And so I'll just I'll shut up now and pull a card. And we'll see what the card says. Okay, you got grouse. Card number 2 is grouse. And grouse is um they're not very big. They're like maybe chicken size, maybe slightly smaller, but they are they dance. They do this elaborate mating dance where the male they dance in circles, they dance in spirals. And when they dance, there's this red thing there that's actually an air sac. And when they're dancing, that air sac inflates, and there's one on the other side too. It inflates bigger than their head. So it's about letting your true colors show. And it's about dancing. It's about movement. It's about the spiral dance. The spiral is probably the oldest sacred symbol known to humankind. It's everywhere. Um, and the spiral is it's the Fibonacci curve, right? The golden mean. If you've ever seen that, like if you've ever taken an art class or something, they have the square, the golden square, right? And it's got that the spiral in it where it's like the sizes and the best, it gets smaller and smaller as it goes through. Anyway, everything in the natural world exists in a spiral somehow, from the biggest super galaxies to thunderstorms to seashells to flowers, um, to down to your DNA. The spiral is what connects us all. It's the fractals, right? Um, as above, so below. If you if you see the some of the images of the universe from the latest like super telescopes and such, um, and then look at a picture of the human brain and the neural pathways, it looks exactly the same. And if you take an image of the mycelium, the the network of fungi under the ground that connect all the plant life and such, again, it looks like a brain. It looks like the neurons of a brain. So as big as you can go till as small as you go, it's all the same pattern. And so, in other words, you are connected to everything. But that connection does not mean that you're homogenized, that it takes away your individuality or your uniqueness, right? This is about dancing to your own drumbeat. When the grouse actually drum, they drum their wings, and it's the same phenomenon that creates thunder. When they beat their wings, they create a vacuum in the air that then slams back together. And so they literally drum. And it's not so much that you can hear it, but you feel it. I've woken up in the woods before when the grouse were drumming, and you feel it. You feel it right here. It's the heartbeat of the earth, the heartbeat of the universe that connects all things. And so it's about finding your own drum beat, walking, dancing to the beat of your own drum, and then knowing that rather than trying to find where you fit in or who you fit in with, when you become that authentic self, when you're aligned with who you truly are in your own spiral and your own drum beat, you're singing your own song, letting your true color shine, then the right people will come to you. You don't have to seek them out, right? Um, what you are seeking is seeking you. And when you stop chasing things, when you stop trying to fit things in, change yourself to make yourself acceptable to someone or something else, then the people that best reflect you and who you are will just show up out of nowhere. Um, oh, you want to know what his feelings towards you because it's going to do a move and try. Oh, I'm not sure if I understand your question the way you wrote it. I want to know what his feelings towards me. Does he gonna do a move and try to confuse his feelings? See, the more ideally you want a partner who can communicate what they're feeling, right? And like I always tell people, and I learned this from 18 years. I was in a relationship and then married for a total of like 18 years. And what one thing I took away from that was how important I know it's kind of cliche, but it's like communication is everything. And I realized that number one, if I don't say anything, there's no how do I put this? If I don't express myself, if I don't say anything of where I stand, then um the other person has no point of reference, and then we're trying to guess what each other are thinking or feeling, and we're trying to adjust ourselves to how the other person is feeling. So we're instead of reacting to what they're truly feeling, we are reacting to what they think we think that they are feeling. Right. If you don't say anything, I realize if I say something, I can always amend it. But it's like in art. They always tell you if sometimes when you're sitting in front of a blank sheet of paper or a blank canvas, it can be overwhelming. It's like, where do I start? And the advice that they always give you is draw a line because once you have a line, you have a reference point from which to go. You break that overwhelmness. And you can always erase that line and continue on with something else. But it like the line gives you something to move from. And if you say something out loud, it gives you a place to start and you can always amend it and say, oh wait, that's not the way I meant it. This is what I meant. Right. But at least then there's that movement, that dance, right? The spiral dance. Then you're dancing together. And you're moving in rhythm, right? If you have to constantly try to figure out what they're thinking, that is I'm not going to say that's what he's doing, but it can be a form of manipulation, right? By not speaking forward, His long gaze telling me he's interested. Okay, I can't tell you what to do, right? But if it were me, if if there's this gaze that telling you he's interested, then if your heart says, "Hey, we need to explore that," explore it. Don't explore it because, "Oh, he's interested," as in he's going to give my life meaning. But if you're feeling it in your heart as well, then move forward. Don't rush in. You can feel it. So trust your heart. Okay? Trust your heart. If your heart says move forward, move forward. But also don't just dive in, right? It's a dance. You don't, it's in a when you're dancing, the whole point of the dance is not to see who can get to the end of the song first, right? That would be chaos. Dance is the movement is the purpose. Every moment, every note, every space between the notes is the purpose of dance. So dance. Take a step forward, approach, see what happens. Speak your heart, listen to your heart, and see if the response coming back supports your heart or resonates with you, right? Because the other thing, along with what I was saying about if you don't speak up, and the other person doesn't speak up, he wants you, but the problem is you. I think, see, in that phrase right there, everyone, I apologize if I'm going too far on this, but that phrase right there that you said, that gives him all the power. You're giving all your power away, saying, "I'm the problem. He wants me, but I'm the problem." You're making him the authority of you. There's something wrong with you. Why can't you step up and, do what he expects, right? The key is to be yourself. Love yourself. You are worthy of love. And even so, say you get into a relationship and it's this great love, right? The love you feel does not originate from him. That love you feel, that is your emotions, that is your feelings, that is coming from your own heart. And if you can feel it, that's what manifests the world around you. When you can stay with the feelings of your own heart, of what you desire, it shows up in the outside world, right? Okay. Listen, Price, this is getting a little bit. I'm kind of on a time schedule. I don't want to just slough you off or anything like that. But um, if you want to email me, perchingwolf@hotmail.com, um, we can address this more in depth. Okay. I don't mind going deeper in it with you, because, like you just said, the situation is complicated. I don't mind helping you sort it out. But, like, I have 3 more people I have to do readings for before I do the big meeting. The emotions come from you, right. I once was in this relationship with this, um, narcissist, like, textbook, narcissist, and at the end, when I finally realized she wasn't who I thought she was, it threw me into a conundrum 'cause like, "Well, what about these feelings I had for I really loved her. I really felt love for her, but she never was the person I thought she was. So what does that mean with this? There's something wrong with me, right? Because I was feeling these feelings and there was no truth to it. And then I had to realize that what those feelings were coming from me, not her. And even though those feelings weren't reciprocated, I realized I could own those feelings, and that became the template for my next relationship and um, realizing that it doesn't matter how anyone else reacts to me or feels toward me, that I am sovereign in myself and that my feelings, you like, there's I don't remember what movie it is, but there's a movie with Nicolas Cage and one of the things he says in there because he's in love with this. I think they're in high school or something. And anyway, one of the things he says is, "You are not what loves you. You are what you love." And so I realized that what I was loving, even though she wasn't feeling authentically the truth of what I loved, I was still feeling that love. And so if I can feel it, that is like I'm always telling people, if there's something you desire, if there's something that um, you're passionate about, you need, you feel that passion, that desire, that feeling is proof that that thing exists. You couldn't feel it if there wasn't something to reflect those feelings, to resonate those feelings, right? So email me, perchingwolf@hotmail.com, and we can talk, okay? I love myself and my ego is so high. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry. But I'm going to move to the next card. So the main message for you is be yourself. Trust yourself. You have value that does not depend on anybody else. You are valuable because you are here. You are enough. Like Mr. Rogers said, you are perfect the way you are, unconditionally. Okay? But email me and I will help. I will help you more when I have more time and space to do that. Okay? All right. Card number 3 for Moon Honey. All right. Okay. Moon Honey, card number 3, you got Raven in reverse. Um, Raven is, in my mind, Raven is like the the Native American version of Prometheus from Greek legend. Um, oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for letting me know that. When I breathed into the cards, you felt it in your heart chakra. That's why I'm like I'm like blowing into the car. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. I didn't even occur to me that others would feel that. Um, but so Raven is the fire bringer, right? Prometheus was the one who brought fire to humans so that they can light up the night, they can cook meals, um, and it's like just light, like enlightenment, right? Um, and in Native American lore, Raven is the one who stole fire from the sun, excuse me, and brought it back to the world. Before that, it said the world was in darkness and all the beings were tripping over each other because they couldn't see. And so Raven volunteered to go steal fire from the sun and bring it back to the earth so that they could see, they could um, have light. And I feel like that's part of your path. Um, you're a light bringer. Um, it's interesting because um, I'm also like in my head, I'm seeing wolves as well. There's this symbiotic relationship between ravens and wolves, and wolf is the teacher. Wolf is the one that go like they have the scouts that go ahead of the pack to get the lay of the land, to blaze trails, to find out where the best hunting grounds are, et cetera, and bring that back to the pack. Um, and Raven is the one who actually went into the dark to the sun and brought light back to the world. Um, and so it's like it feels like your role is to explore these different things that maybe other people in your life have no clue about, or it's like exploring, becoming more of yourself, bringing, beaming that light of yourself. Like there was I saw a meme one time about how at one point in your spiritual path, you stop reflecting the light from the world, reacting to the light of the world, and you become an emitter of light. Like you find your own frequency and you become like a radio tower emitting your own frequency into the world. And I think that's what's happening as you're coming more and more into finding who you are, bringing that light, like shedding light on the dark parts and accepting those parts becomes more light to shine out into the world. And the thing about Raven is when Raven pops up, anything is possible. Um, Raven is the deepest, oh, I was gonna say darkest, but it's not in a bad way. It's like Raven is like the deepest, bibbity bobbity booiest magic that there is. There are so many stories about Raven in different cultures that are associated with creation myths, with creation, manifesting, bringing the world into being, bringing light to the world. And so the fact that it's in reverse doesn't isn't a bad thing. It's like that is what I'm feeling is that it's like that this is to give you promise. This is the energy behind all the things that you've been experiencing, all the challenges and the triumphs, everything that's been going on. this is kind of the track that you're on, that you're finding your own light, finding that you are the creator of your life. You are the center of your universe. The universe revolves around you. If there's something you don't like in your world, instead of going and trying to change it, it's like finding that place inside yourself and shifting. And either that thing will go away or you will rise like, like light, like fire rising, like a hot air balloon rising with the flame to a place where either that doesn't matter or you can see it from a whole different angle. But you can do anything. Um, It's a matter of believing in yourself, of trusting yourself, like I was saying earlier, right? Um, there's a lot. So, to give you an example. I get flack sometimes because I call myself a shaman, and traditionally, it's a taboo or it's looked down on for someone to call themselves a shaman because it's seen as an ego thing. It's like, and traditionally, like traditional shamans, if they go around, I'm a shaman, I know what's best, blah blah blah, their guides are going to abandon them and they're going to end up either working with lower vibrational beings, um, or they're just going to lose their power and um, not be as successful. But because I know all those, I because I work with my guides have called me a shaman. My community has declared that I'm a shaman, and usually that's the threshold when when a person's community declares they're a shaman. That's what kind of makes it official. But it can be seen as ego. Like, I'm a shaman. Like, you're claiming that you have the power, that you know how to do this, that you're manipulating the powers to get the results you want. When I say I'm a shaman, I'm coming from the place of I'm not the one doing this. I don't have the powers. The powers of the spirits moving through me, just like doing readings. It's like I'm not the one that's coming up with this stuff. It's spirit speaking through me, right? And so I can say I'm a shaman. And the fact is, it would be egoic of me to deny saying that I'm a shaman because I am. I feel it in every particle of my being. Um, and so, how this relates to you is a lot of times it's like that Marianne Williamson quote about, there's nothing enlightened about playing small for the comfort of others, right? We have this thing that if I shine too brightly, if I'm too fabulous, if I'm too successful, people are going to hate me, and it's ego, like to say that I'm good at something, that coming from ego. And it's like, no, it's not. It's time to claim your power, claim your sovereignty, claim what you are good at. That is not ego, that is truth. Ego would be if you were pretending, like, and trying to trick people and say, "Oh, I'm really good at that," and then you weren't, and you would, you know, make excuses and whatever. So it's like this is kind of the next step is to claim your power, claim your identity, claim your sovereignty as one who can manifest at will, one who is connected. That darkness that Raven flies into to get the light is not bad. That's the womb of the cosmic mother. That's the darkness within which all possible futures exist. all it's like pure potential. Everything that could possibly exist exists in that darkness. And you fly into that darkness to find the light and bring that light back out of the darkness into the light of day, into third dimensional reality. You are the light bringer, you're the fire bringer. You're meant to be an example to others of how it actually works. And you might experience, if you haven't already, you might start experiencing people coming to you and ask, like, how did you do that? Why did that just happen? What do you know that I don't know? What and people will start coming to you for advice and answers. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. You're a shaman. Drop the practitioner, right? Um, I went to a retreat. I went to a vision quest one time, and there were like 12 other people or something, and we all chose our own spots in the woods. But like beforehand, we got together, introduced ourselves, and kind of told what our goals were, etc. Then we went out, and of course, I introduced myself as a shaman. And when we were coming back, after the 3 days of being alone, we were coming back. I got a ride with one of the facilitators back to the base camp and stuff. And she was like, well, we don't use the word shaman. We try to respect the traditional peoples and say, so we say shamanic practitioner because we don't want to take anything away from the original. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm a shaman. Gone through all of the initiations may not be exactly the same as they were traditionally, but we still have the, you know, death and rebirth cycles. We have initiations, we have the calling, right? And so I'm not going to water it down with practitioner because that's ego. That's saying, oh, I'm not worthy. That's like false modesty, you know. And it varies depending on the crowd and who I'm talking to. I might throw practitioner in there just to keep the conversation going and not but claim who you are. This is this is the most magical you can be. This is big medicine. Okay. I knew it. I kept wanting to say shaman, but I was like my monkey mind was like, "Well, I don't know about that part." But I felt it here. Claim it. I just got chills when I said that. Claim it. Yeah, the initiation is a journey. Yeah, but it makes a good story. Absolutely. I'm actually trying to get myself geared up to do start doing a podcast so that I can talk about that kind of thing, like tell my story, my initiation, my shamanic illness, et cetera, and kind of put that out into the world. But the world needs more shamans. I saw this meme and it was like, I don't remember who said it, but it was like when society doesn't produce the world needs shamans. And when society doesn't produce shamans, the earth will produce them herself. So claim it. It's not, saying I'm a shaman to me is not derogatory to anyone else. It doesn't take anything away from any traditions or any shamans of the past. It's like I still work with my ancestors. I work with my guides, and one of the most telling things is that my guides are still here. I've been saying I'm a shaman for years now, and my guides are still here. They haven't gone anywhere. They're still working with me, and I still do well. You experience my readings. You know how they go, and successful healings and stuff. And so don't shy away from it. Okay. All right. How are we doing? We're getting close on time. Okay. Card number 4 for Kelly. Moon honey, we should get in touch and compare notes and stuff. Exactly. Right. When someone says, oh, you can't, tells me, oh, you can't call yourself a shaman, it's like the definition of shaman is that you're called by the spirits. Right. No other human being, past, present, or future, has the authority to tell you that you are not. By definition, a shaman is called by the spirits. And yes, there are a lot of um, charlatans and people that do move from ego that may not be working with the highest vibrational um, beings, but awesome, Moon Honey. Um, you can message me through my Facebook page, or you can do the email perchingwolf@hotmail.com. But yeah, I would love to connect with you. I'd love to compare notes and see what you have experienced and stuff. That would be awesome. All right, card number 4 for Kelly. All right, Kelly, let me write down the cards. So Kelly, card number 4 is Mouse in reverse. When Mouse comes up, Mouse is basically the message of Mouse is usually one aspect or another of simplify. Simplify, 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 to quote Thoreau. Um, in reverse, it's kind of, it can be an overwhelm, like there's too much stimulus, there's too much going on, is being too invested in too many directions, being fragmented and scattered, right? Um, and so the heart of the message here is be present. Um, the mouse doesn't worry about the cat next door or the dog down the street and what kind of threat they might offer. They don't create problems in their heads. They don't worry about what's going on the other side of the planet. They are focused on their little world, and the simple pleasures of life, right? The eating and being with their mates and multiplying and eating and um, it really is about presence in the moment. The present is your point of power, right? You can't change the past. You can't go into the future to change the future. The only place you have power is here and now, right? And um, Okay, I'm gonna go there. Um, Quantum physics says that you are the center of your reality, right? That, okay, how do I put this in words? It is your perception of the world that creates the world, right? If you've ever heard of the double slit experiment, if you haven't, Google it. I think it is like one of, if not the most important scientific experiment ever. But the double slit experiment, they 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 had a light source, they had a they had an obstacle with one slit, and then they had a screen on the back, and they sent light through. And of course, it made this pattern on the screen. And they were wondering, well, if we create two slits, we'll be able to find out if light is a particle or a wave. Because if it's a particle, it'll choose one or the other slit to go through, and we'll get this interference pattern on the back screen. But if it's a wave, it will pass through both of them. And the and they redid it not that long ago. I think like in the 60s or 70s, or even I don't remember exactly when they redid it, but the same thing. It's perception is what creates the reality. If there were nobody watching, that light would act as a wave and it would go through both slits. But if someone was watching, or if they had a camera watching it so that someone in the future would be watching what happens, then the light acted as a particle and would choose one. It would go through one slit or the other one, and the pattern on the back screen would be different. And so it was the presence of the observer that created that determined whether light acted as a wave or a particle. What that means is that if we expand that to all of reality or all of the world, whatever is not in your immediate bubble of perception is a field of possibilities. They don't they exist, but it's like Schrodinger's cat, that other thought experiment where if you put a cat in a box and you put in a vial with poison that has a 50-50% chance of breaking open, that cat in the box is both dead and alive until you open it. And it's not until you open and you perceive it that the cat is either one or the other. Because while he's in the box, while he's outside your perception, that cat is a field of possibilities. So as you're sitting here, everything going on in Washington, everything going on the other side of the world, everything going on down the street is a field of possibilities. The only thing that is solid is this moment, here and now, and what is in front of you, what is around you. And as you focus on your own well being, focus on your heart and what brings you joy, that is what that is what helps when you do um how do I put this into words? Wow. When you do like leave your home and go and meet someone else, it's like it's that feeling in your heart and the perception that collapses that field into a specific set of circumstances. It puts it brings into physical reality all the different possible ways that that person could be all, and like I said earlier, the past is as fluid as the future is, and depending on where you are and how true you are to yourself, that person, this is really complicated, complex to put into words. But when you live from that well-being, when you live from that alignment, and you live from your heart and follow your heart, follow your joy, then you can trust that everything else is going to fall into place. The universe, the world around you will resonate with your frequency. And that even if you encounter your friend and they're in a bad mood, there's going to be a purpose there. There's going to be something that maybe you can help them with, or there's something that's reflecting in you that you haven't paid attention to, but it will all resonate. That's what they mean when everything happens for a reason. It's not that it's ordained by some bearded old man on a throne in the sky somewhere. It's because it resonates with where you are and what you need for your next step forward. Does that make sense? And so instead of spending all your energy on worrying about what others are doing, what's happening down the block or on the other side of the planet, it's like focusing on yourself, focusing on your own joy. That's the key. Joy is the key because it's that joy. Like when you're all of a sudden you see you're walking down the road and all of a sudden you see a butterfly and you feel that rush of joy, that inspiration, your frequency just rose at that point. That's joy, and your frequency rises, and if you can maintain that higher frequency by focusing on joy, by letting joy be your compass, then even when things do not work out the way you would have wanted them to someplace else on the planet, you can trust that they are in harmony with what needs to happen for the greater good, for the highest benefit of all beings. Okay. But all you need to focus on is your own experience, your own present moment, and finding the highest joy you can in that moment. Being the most authentic and truthful being that you can be in any given moment, and let the rest of the world take care of itself. And as we each do that, right, we our little bubble of frequency encounters someone else's bubble of frequency, and um it's entrainment. It's like that same phenomenon when you have a room full of clocks, that eventually all those clocks start to tick tock at the same rate. It's like the highest frequency in a room draws all the other frequencies to it. They might not rise to match it necessarily, but everything is changed. If you're the highest frequency in the room, everybody's frequency will rise just by your presence. That doesn't mean that people aren't going to hate you, because some people will find that really uncomfortable and disconcerting and a loss of control. And so they're going to scream, run screaming for the hills, or they're going to lash out at you or something. But that has nothing to do with you, right? Like I said earlier, there is nothing enlightened about playing small for the comfort of others. The only thing you can control in this world is yourself. And the best thing you can do to do that is to follow the joy, follow your bliss. Like Joseph Campbell said, when you follow your bliss, where there were only walls, doors will open. Okay. I better move on to the next one because I am running out of time. All right, card number 5 for Tammy. I hope you're still here. I know these videos get kind of long-winded. I always appreciate the people that stick around through the whole thing. Oh, cool. Okay. So almost all of the cards tonight have been reversed, but I hope you can see how that is not a bad thing. Even if a card is reversed, it's like it's not that you've done something bad or wrong. It's usually what's in the wings, what's in the background happening, and it's like and that totem animal, even though it's in reverse, it's like that totem animal is there working with you, pulling for you, backing you up, reminding you of your own power. And so we come to card number 5 for Tammy, and we have Dragonfly in reverse. And if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you've probably heard the story, but I think it's been a while since I've actually told it, so I'll tell it again. Um, Once upon a time, there was this mighty dragon who was all powerful. And like most dragons, he was very arrogant and he liked to brag about his prowess and his abilities and what he'd done. Um, and one day, Coyote got really tired of hearing this dragon boast about all his great feats and magical accomplishments. And so he went up to the dragon and said, I bet you're not powerful enough to make yourself that big. The dragon laughed in his face and turned himself into a dragonfly. The thing is, when he turned into a dragonfly, he got caught by his own illusion and thought he was just this frail little body. He still had all the magic and all of the power that he ever had, but he got caught in the image. He got caught in the illusion that all he was this fragile body. So when Dragonfly comes along, especially when Dragonfly comes around reversed, it's usually a sign that you've forgotten who you are. Um, and again, like the other cards, it's like it's time to reclaim your sovereignty, right? Dragon medicine is sovereignty. And Dragonfly, I mean, it's a really good example of that phrase I used earlier that Dr. Wayne Dyer used all the time about how you're a spirit having a human experience rather than than a human having a spiritual experience. Dragonfly is the dragon having a dragonfly experience, not a dragonfly having a dragon experience. You are spirit. You are like they say in the Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. You exist. You are real. You cannot be threatened. Who you truly are in your soul of souls is spirit, is divine. You have been here since before the universe began. You will be here after it all ends because you are beyond time. You're having this human experience. You're having this experience in this puny, fragile little body, right? The key comes in into remembering that you are spirit, remembering the dragon, realizing that the body, the physical limitations has a purpose, right? If you were to show up and your friends in a crowd of your friends or other people, whatever, and you showed up in all your glory, they would freak out and run for the hills, or they would start to worship you, right? Um, and so you're a dragon in a dragonfly body so that those in front of you have a reference point. They can see themselves in you. You're a friendly face. You look like them. Um, and so by embodying the humanness, you're able to channel that spirit through and to bring people a message, remind other people that they are dragons without threatening them, without it being a conflict of interest or, you know, making them worship you as if like some big guru. And I mean, there are people that do that, that use that power in that way. But I think this is mostly about you remembering your true self, remembering that like there's an Ellen Watts quote that I just love. It's like if you realize that the I, the ego, does not exist, then it won't go to your head too badly when you wake up and realize that you are God, because that's what we all are. We are all aspects, we are all fragments of source energy, creator, God, goddess, whatever you want to call the source. We are expressions of that original source. We are eternal portions of divineness in temporal bodies. Um, so don't get caught in your own illusion. Don't get caught in thinking that you are the limits of this body, that you are just this frail, temporary, short lived being who won't amount to anything. Remember your eternalness, right? It's not an either or, it's a both and. You are both human and divine. And the big challenge is to bring that divineness into the humanness, to remain human and yet to shine that divine light from within us. And that's what changes the world, like the entrainment I just mentioned with the clocks, right? The more each of us shine that light outward, the more it raises everyone around us, right? And like they say, the tide raises all ships. When you raise your own frequency, when you remember who you are, everyone in the world benefits from that because we're all connected. It is not lost. It's not just this little drop. Like who was it was talking about? You know, you are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop of water. So I hope that helps. And now I time to move on to our community reading. We got 5 people, so that's perfect. Oh, I don't need to shuffle the cards. So I'm gonna flip through and try to find the cards that came up tonight. And while I am doing that, I'm gonna do my usual plugs that again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. That helps me out. It helps other people find me. Um, and I've been doing these videos since the pandemic. So there's like, actually before the pandemic, I had some. So it's like 8-ish years of these videos on readings, also videos of my some blah, 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 sacred pipe ceremony. So if you ever feel the need to, you know, pull in from the world, to take the world off your shoulders and sit in sacred space, you can pull up one of my sacred pipe ceremony videos. Just sit in silence in sacred space, reconnect to that divineness. And if you enjoy my videos and would like to work with me personally, either for readings or healings or teachings, oh my, you can do so through my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, and you can find out more about me. You can see the different services I offer, and you can sign up for a session right from my website. and I would love to do a one-on-one with you. I would be honored to help you find your way. Um, and like I said, I don't have any classes scheduled at the moment, but I'm getting ready to post. I have a course called Shamanic Journey into Personal Mythology, where we get to learn our personal mythology, our personal symbologies, our own hero hero story, and kind of rewrite our past in a way that that empowers us rather than disempower us. So keep your eyes open for that. What else? If you wish to support your friendly neighborhood shaman, this is my living. This is what I do for a living. This is my day job. And so um, being self-employed and doing this kind of work, sometimes things get a little scarce. And so if you would like to help me make sure that I can keep a roof over my kitty's head and food in her little tummy, I have my PayPal and my Venmo links in the description of this video. And anything you give is met with such gratitude. Traditionally, the shaman supports the community and the community supports the shaman. So everything that you give me goes straight to me, helps me, like I said, keep a roof over my kitty's head, keep food in her tummy, and it helps me to be able to focus on doing more videos of my own spiritual growth so that I have more experience, more wisdom, more things that I can share with you along that way to help draw you forward on your own unique path. So, um, thank you for that. What did I do with the, oh, so do, do, do. Okay, wait. So I'm gonna turn my phone down toward the cards in a moment here. Just remember that I think my camera is set at mirror, so I'm not sure how that translates into the video if the certain sides are the same. But here's our. Let me turn this a little bit. Ah, phone down, phone down. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. The, my stand has a leg that gets in the way of my pointing it in the right direction. Oh, what's going on? Okay. Okay. As you can tell, this is not a professional production. It's not edited. Let's see, maybe I can pull in. Oh, jeez. Okay. Gosh darn it. Let's move them over maybe. Okay. One moment. Try to make things all pretty and then it. Okay, there we go. All right. So this is our community reading. There. I think you can read it. So as I said before, this is the four directions, east, south, west, and north, and then center. And like I said, I'm not sure if those directions reflect the video because it's in mirror mode. I'm trying to get this flatter so you can see these. But so this is taking our individual messages and medicine and paths and weaving them together in the community to show how we're all connected. And so I like to start in the east where the sun rises. So over here we have lizard in reverse, the place of air. East is air. So that's like the mental realm. the masculine side. And so we have lizard in reverse. Um, Before I even do that, what's interesting is we have 4 out of 5 of the cards facing the same way. They're 4 of them are in reverse, but the fact that they're facing the same way is beyond the law of averages. There should be at least one card facing the other way. So the fact when that happens, it's kind of profound on its own before even getting into the context of the cards. That the universe had to defy its own odds in order to show us how we're doing. And so if we start with lizard in the east, the place of air and the mental realm, um, lizard is the dreamer. And give me a moment here. I'm just kind of taking it all in. It's like lizard's the dreamer, and in reverse, it's like we're it's almost like we're afraid to believe in our dreams. We're afraid to believe that it's possible to create a world where everyone is valued, everyone is honored, everyone has food and shelter, et cetera, et cetera. It's like we have that dream, but we're having trouble believing that it's possible. So that it kind of can come up as cynicism, um, and like shamans have been saying for eons that the human race is dreaming the wrong dream, right? When we manifest things, we visualize things, it's like we're dreaming things into existence. And because we're focusing on what's happening in the physical world, reacting to what's happening in the physical world, rather than starting from scratch and creating what our dreams are, we keep recreating the same things, right? Um, and so that kind of goes along with all the conflict and all the, it's like the false starts and there's, you know, hope rises and then it kind of gets buried and then it rises again. It's like we're never quite where we're wanting to get, right? And then if we jump across to the west is water. That's the emotional realm. And so these two kind of play off of each other a lot. And so in the west, in the emotional realm, we have Raven, we have the light bringer, right? It's like, to me, this is like we're having a hard time believing in our dreams. And it's like in the emotional realm, we it could be one of a couple of things. It could be that we're afraid of our own power, of what we can create. And it could be a feeling of kind of trying to protect ourselves from disappointment. Again, that cynicism about, well, that's never going to work. Oh, I hope it's true. I believe it could happen, but it's never going to, I don't deserve it, right? The emotional realm. Um, and then if we come up to the north, um, north is earth. So that's like the physical world. And with mouse in reverse, it's so fitting because, like I mentioned earlier, mouse is about simplifying. And in reverse, it's that overwhelm. It's like there's too much stimulus, there's too many moving parts. So we're trying to change the world. We're trying to believe in it. We're trying to feel it. And it's so overwhelming that we're getting lost in the commotion of it, in the confusion. Um, We're too caught up in what's going on out there rather than changing what is inside, right? Um, and simplifying it from all the rhetoric and the politics and stuff and say, you know, every person is valued, every person deserves um, health and food and shelter, et cetera, right? It's like coming down to those basics, say this is what we need, rather than trying to argue it out and mistake morality and values for opinions, right? Where we're arguing things. Um, it's like keeping our eyes on the prize, keeping focused on what's important, not getting caught on the tangents, on the different stories or different things that pull us out of our power, right? So it's keeping those things simple. And in the center, I'll get to grouse in a minute. Normally I go around this, but because these four are in reverse, I wanted to hit those first. And so dragonfly in the center, dragonfly, the center card is the hub of the wheel. It's kind of the spirit card. Um, and with dragonfly in the middle, it's like, again, it's this perception of overwhelm. It's like we feel powerless. We feel like we can't change things. We feel like we don't have any power to change things. And that things are just going to keep going around and around and around, that there's no hope, that what can I possibly do in the face of this huge monster of a wave of conflict and disservice and dishonor, et cetera. So now the thing is, like I said earlier, just because these are in reverse doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. You could also see this as a fact that these are the things that are growing. These are the things, it's like the seed that's been planted that hasn't quite burst through the soil yet. And so these are the things that are taking root. These are the things that are happening below the surface where we're starting to dream the right dreams. We're starting to feel that it's possible. We're starting to feel like we're starting to see the connection of everyone. We're starting to see how we all fit together, how we're all in this together, right? And so that it brings that world of like just the idea that it would be cheaper. For example, I read that it would be cheaper to end homelessness, to create homes for every homeless person, than it is to continue to support all of the repercussions of homelessness, whether it's the health care, the uninsured, um, all the different things. It costs more to have homeless people than it does to make sure everyone has a home. Hi, Kit Kat. Down in front, you make a better door than a window. This is Kira, my kitty. Here, yeah, food right here. Come on, come on. Let's see. I need to read the cards. So we're we're cutting through, starting to cut through that the BS and the lies and the falsehoods, etc., to get to the heart of the matter, right? So that's like these are the things that are all in the background, and the channel that this is all going to come through In the south, south is fire. So we're lighting the fires. It's like this is all here. It's like this is the hot air balloon that is just kind of lying, flopping all over. It has no real shape, no real form, but the fire is what will inflate it, will bring it to its um, fullest potential and allow it to rise where it's meant to go. In fact, it looks like a balloon. Like this is the balloon and this is the basket, right? Where the fire is. And so we have this dance, this spiral dance of grouse as we each learn to claim our own power, as we each learn to follow our joy, to dance our unique dance, to dance to the beat of our own soul. Um, Diversity is like we all play a part in, how do I put that? You are here because you have unique qualities and talents. It's not a mistake that you are here with your passions, right? Fire is the passion. I kind of think of this as the purpose card because it's the fire, it's passion, it's the action. And so we're starting to dance this and more now than ever before that I've noticed when we're looking at the different protests and different things, it's like there's such an emphasis on joy because we're no longer trying to hide our joy, to protect our joy. We're realizing that our joy is what the powers that be want to take away from us. And so we need to express our joy, to express our passions. And that is what's going to light up and fill up this balloon and raise us to the height that we are meant to be in. So keep dancing. You might seem insignificant. It might seem like you're just dancing with yourself. It might just seem like, well, I don't know how I'm affecting the world. But every little bit of joy that you bring into the world is that much more joy than would be there without you, right? Like I always say, I try my one goal every day is to make sure there's just at least a little more beauty in the world than there was when I woke up in the morning. When I go to bed, that there's a little more beauty than when I woke up. It's simple. It's that simple. So that is our community reading. I hope that made sense to you. I hope that was helpful. Um, uh, you survived the fall when I dropped the phone. That's funny. Oh, my kitty was after the mouse card. That's funny. Um, so there you have it. That is our time for tonight. Actually coming in on time. I've actually made it by 8 o'clock. Sometimes I go over. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your support of me by watching this video, by sharing this video. If you know anyone that could use a little guidance, feel free to pass it on. Spread the love. And I hope you'll come back next week. Excuse me. Um, Again, my PayPal and Venmo are in the description. Um, I would love your support. Things are a little dicey for me, just like it is for everyone else at the moment. But um, but that is not obligatory. That is in no way. This is a free video, so you have no obligation. I really just hope that it's helpful and that people get something out of it. So so that is it. I thank you for being here with me and taking some time out of your busy week. And oh, and what I forgot to say is that if you weren't aware of it, I do another video. I do two videos during the week. I do this one on Monday nights, and then Wednesday night at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, I do my sacred pipe ceremony live. Um, and so we sit in ceremony, we smoke the peace pipe. Um, well, I do, and I send the smoke blessings to you. So if you feel like you want to take a break from the world, sit in silence, sit in alignment, connect to spirit, gathering in sacred space, join me Wednesday nights for that. If you don't know what it is and you're curious, come check it out. And I hope to see you there. And otherwise, until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right. Bye now.